Good morning, students. I hope you are doing fine at home. We are continuing with modifiers. Last few lessons, last videos, we spoke about the adjectives, the adverbs, and phrases as modifiers. Today we are going to speak about how clauses can act as modifiers, can act as adjectives and adverbs as well. So let's go ahead. But first, before we start, let's remember what is a clause. So a clause is a word group that contains a verb and a subject, and it's different than the phrase which just contains group of words with no subject nor verb. We have two different types of clauses. The first one is called independent clause, and the second one is called dependent or subordinate clause, or if you remember during our lessons we called it as baby clause because it cannot live alone. It would die. We will not understand anything if we just left it alone. Like here, imagine that we don't have here this clause. After my cousins arrived, and then you put full stop. You won't understand anything. That's why it's called dependent clause. It depends on another main clause or independent clause. Okay? So please take notes and write down what is the difference between dependent and independent clause. So let's check now. Our main focus today is about dependent clauses or subordinate clauses because they behave as modifiers. So let's get back and see how is this. So the dependent clause or the subordinate clause or the baby clause is actually just two types. The first one is called adjective clause. The baby clause can be called two things, adjective or adverb clause. An adjective, of course, we know that an adjective modifies a noun. So as you can see here, Lewis won the race. Which Lewis? Lewis who is in my class. So as you can see, all of this is the subject and the verb. So all of this behaves as a modifier for Lewis, which is a noun. So that's why it's called an adjective clause. And we can see another example here. This is the new song. Which song? That I like. And by the way, a very quick tip, the adjective clauses start all the time with what? Relative pronouns. Who can remind me with a relative pronoun? Yes, you can see them here. Who, whom, whose, which, that. Here is the salad. Which salad that you ordered? Here is the salad you ordered. And by the way, this is a trick which I'll tell you about later, that sometimes you actually don't need to mention to write that. Here is the salad you ordered. It's not wrong, it's not a run-on, it's correct. Grammatically, it's correct sentence. So again, the adjective clause starts with a relative pronoun and it modifies a noun. So let's go now to see what is an adverb clause. Adverb clause, so it has a verb and it has a noun, a subject, and they modify the main verb in the independent clause. So when do I sing? Whenever I am happy. So all of this, as you can see, is behaving as an adverb for the main verb here. When do I sing? Whenever I am happy. Why I sing or when again I sing if I have had a hard day at school. So as you can see, this clause here is modifying the main verb in the independent clause. And by the way, don't forget, this is a very common mistake that some people put a comma here. This is a common error. You don't put a comma if my baby clause comes at the end of the sentence. Like, I sing in the shower because I love it. Don't ever put a comma before because or any of the subordinate conjunctions like if, since, when, while, as if, unless, despite of. Don't put commas before those subordinate conjunctions. Now it's time for practicing. So in those sentences, stop the video please, and I want you to do one thing. Just decide by yourself, those clauses in front of you, those highlighted clauses, they are behaving, those dependent clauses, they are behaving as adverbs or as adjectives. So you have 1 minute to decide. Stop the video, answer by yourself, and then continue. So I'm going to answer now. I left early. When did I leave early? Or why did I leave early? Because I needed to study. So as you can see, this is behaving as an adverb, the modifying left. The second one, I gave him a key. Which key? That would open the front door. So this means that would open the front door is behaving as an adjective. The next one, that pasture which is part of the next farm has a creek on it. So which pasture? Which is part of the next. So excellent work, yes, this is an adjective clause or a dependent clause which is behaving as an adjective. The last one, and I hope you got this one right as well. Call us when you arrive. So it's modifying when should I call, so this means it's an adverb clause. So here are the answers. Now the same exercise, stop the video and try to answer by yourself. I'm going to answer right now. So as long as he starts early, he will arrive on time. So what do you think here? I want you to think carefully. Is it behaving as an adjective or as an adverb? Is it modifying a noun here, or noun or pronoun here, or is it just describing the verb? As long as he will arrive. When will he arrive? As long as he starts early. So it's excellent, you did a great job. So it's behaving as an adverb here. The next one, we said the quick trick that it's whenever we have a relative pronoun, it's in this case my dependent clause or the subordinate clause is behaving as an adjective. Which person? She is the person. Which person? Person whom I trust most. The number 3, it's very clear also. The audience cheered. When the music ended, so it's behaving as a modifier for the verb cheered, so it's an adverb clause. The last one here, the family that lives next door. Which family? The family which lives next door. So excellent, you did a great job. So it's behaving as an adjective clause. So here are the answers. Few seconds and then we will continue with the modifiers.